Hello everyone, today we will be talking about our music venue roots. We will be talking about the introduction to our company, marketing and audience, operations and capacity, the finance behind the company, and of course the conclusion. My name is Sarah and I will be telling you about the introduction to our company. To explain who we are as a company and what we stand for, we have made a mission and a vision. Our mission is we are a stage for every story. We exist to elevate young talent, ignite their passion, and to welcome them all. We create an inclusive and open space for everyone by providing them with unique experiences. We went with this mission because when we were doing research, it showed that not a lot of music venues in the Netherlands offer this opportunity for young artists, but there is a lot of ask for it. So we as a venue saw a hole in the market and decided to fill it. Then onto our mission, become the leading destination for young artistic talent. We aim to see the shift in a creative economy where diversity of expression is a hallmark of a great experience. In all that we do, sustainability remains a guiding principle, ensuring their impact is lasting. When doing research, it showed that sustainability is a really big trend right now, which is why we went with this mission. With this vision, if we want to become the leading destination for young artistic talent, we have to follow the trends and developments in the sector. Then, based off the mission and vision, we've made a strategy. We want to offer combo deals and low ticket pricing. We want to do this because research showed that inflation is a big part in the life of students and they can't afford to do fun things anymore. And students are one of our biggest target groups. So by offering them this, we hope to attract more students to our venue. We also want to create a long-term loyalty with our artists and with our customers to make sure they keep coming back and we keep making the revenue we need. We also want LED technology in the whole building except for the stage lights, and we want a localized B2B network. The last two strategy points both match with our vision. They both match to sustainability. For the B2B network, we want to localize it because then food vendors, for example, would have to travel a shorter distance to our venue and it would be less pollution in the air. Then when we go to the next page, we can see the OKRs and the 6 capitals. We chose to look at these 3 capitals the most specifically because they are the most important when looking at our mission and vision. Natural, the natural capital, because we want to be sustainable, which we got in our vision. The social, because we want a long-term loyalty with our customers and artists, which we show in the strategy. And financial, because the financial aspect are also very important when making a music venue and they can't be overlooked. When we look at the social capital, the objective we made is we want to build a trustworthy and inclusive relationship with the emerging talent. The key results we made for this is at least 50% of our first-time performers will be performing again in our venue within the next 2 years. We will have at least 5 different music genres playing within 1 quarter of the year. And lastly, once a month we will have a community meeting for performers to strengthen their bond and create a place for exchanging experience. Then when we move on to the natural capital, we want to reduce our carbon footprint, which we stated in our vision because we want to be sustainable. We want 80% of our visitors to come to our events by public transport, bike or foot. 80% of our use energy needs to be from renewable resources. And except for the LED lights, for the stage lights effects, all the lights in the building will be LED lights, which is good for our vision. Then the financial capital, the last capital, we want to decrease the amount of shareholders in our company. We want to have a revenue of at least 150,000 a year. We want to decrease the amount of shareholders from 4 to 2, and we want to take part in 3 subsidized projects on youth and sustainability throughout the year. Now that you have a little bit of a vision of what we are as a company, we will be moving on to the marketing.
Thank you, Sarah. I will be now explaining a bit more over the marketing of Roots, how we reach to our audience, what type of programming do we apply, and how do we measure our success so we know what to do for the upcoming period. To begin with, I would like to take a look at the programming from all of the 4 quarters. As you can see, in Q1 we remained a broad and open programming in our music venue, and this is because we wanted to explore the market and see what could work and what wouldn't work. So for Q2 we saw a gap in the market, which was heavy metal, and that's why we decided to focus on this genre as well as hasten the community events, since it goes along with our mission and vision, and still keeping it a bit broad, so we still included indie, pop rock and dance events within our music program. Within Q3 we saw that indie underperformed, Therefore, we took it out of the program completely. And Q4, we followed the same strategy, just amplifying 2 to 3 more events in the heavy metal genre in the last quarter. To continue with our marketing expenses, here we have a graphic of how much we spent over the 4 quarters. As you can see, the line doesn't really vary throughout quarters, even though the first quarter is the least that we invested and the last quarter is the more than we invested. It only varies around 1,000 to 2,000 euros. However, the increase in visitors is quite clear, and this is because our strategy is based in our marketing mix and not only in the amount of budget we have for marketing in the promotion, but also what strategy do we follow in terms of price or in terms of product. Here you can see that the average marketing spend per visitor really lowered basically to half of it by the last quarter, which means that what we were aiming to turned out to be efficient. For our target audience, we again stayed quite broad at the beginning, and for that we had a certain strategy, like keeping the local artists with low price or the big artists with high price. We also did quite some high prices in food and beverage at the beginning, since we didn't want to risk it that much. However, then we saw that our target audience really needed to be more clear. That's why we changed our strategy to focus more on a niche age gap from 18 to 25 years old, usually students and locals. In this case, we also applied more discounts. We lowered our prices in tickets. However, we won again that revenue within food and beverage. When we look at the competition, we see that we are the leaders within 2 specific genres, community and heavy metal. In this case, I'm going to talk about heavy metal first. As you can see, we started quite low, and there was already another competitor that only focused in this genre. That's why we have quite similar outcomes. And about community, it goes without saying that we are so far the best and the venue who attracts the most visitors within this genre. To have more details about the operations and capacity, I will let you with Niels.
My name is Niels. As Chief Operating Officer, I was responsible for 3 things that kept this venue running event by event: how many visitors filled our halls, how we managed our staff, and how we ordered and controlled our consumables. I want to walk you through all the quarters, explain the decisions that we made, and be honest what we will do differently next time. We have 2 halls with different capacities. At full capacity, we could welcome 10,000 visitors per quarter. We started with 4,508 visitors in quarter 1 and reached 9,214 in quarter 4. That's a 105% increase across the year, and I'm very proud of that. In quarter 1, we ran 20 events, but only attracted 4,500 visitors. 3 factors drove this. Our ticket prices were too high, our marketing budget averaged only 290 euros per event, which was not enough, and we spread across too many genres in the beginning. So in Q2 we applied those lessons. Our community events consistently filled the smaller halls, our marketing spending was increased, and our genre choices improved. In Q3 we only had 6,150 visitors. There was a small 3% dip. This was because our sound system needed replacing, which forced us to cancel the first 4 big hall events. Quarter 4 was our best result. Our visitor numbers jumped 50% to 9,214. We hit then our 92% theoretical maximum capacity. What we did change was really simple. We committed to our strongest genres, the heavy metal and pop rock, and we increased our marketing spend while selling low ticket prices. Managing our team was one of the most complex parts of this role. We had 7 permanent staff, a penalty system, and sick leave that arrived at the worst possible moments. The staff satisfaction KPI carries 20% of our total score. In quarter 1 we used external staff to keep our permanent team free on their preferred days. In Q2 we faced a lot of sick leave, vacation requests, which required significant external spending. In Q3 and Q4 we planned as fast as possible, but everyone had to work 1 shift more than preferred. The satisfaction trajectory went from 98.5 to 65.5. This has 2 explanations. The penalty system: every overtime shift that we planned added to a running total that never resets, and the consumable stockouts in Q2 and Q3. This frustrated our staff when guests arrived at the bar and they couldn't sell any drinks anymore. The 72.7 point gap in staff satisfaction between us and the top competitor is the largest reason we did not finish in the top 5. Because our financial score was nearly identical to the winners, it was the personal management where we left the points. Every quarter we had to order food and beverage before knowing how many visitors we would attract. This was a really hard forecasting challenge. In Q1 we over-ordered based on optimistic visitor expectations and wasted 25% of our order. In Q2 we ordered less and recorded 0 waste. Our sustainability improved. But event 17 through 20 there were 0 consumable revenue despite having visitors. So we had run out of stock before the end of the quarter. In Q3, I reduced the order again to reflect the fewer big hall events. Again, 0 waste, but the stockout continued through events 50 to 20. So I had to fix this over-ordering problem. In Q4, we got it right. We ordered enough to match our high volume program. All of the events had full stock and our consumable revenue reached €71,000, our highest of the year, and our waste was effectively 0. Where we succeeded, the consumable waste eliminated from Q2 onwards, and that we finished 9th place in Q4, our best result of the year. Where we fell short, the overtime that drove staff satisfaction down, and of course the stockouts in Q2 and Q3. The commitment for the next cycle will be booking international artists from Q2 and not just Q4. Thank you!
Hello, I'm Sophie and I'm the CFO of Roots. I will talk about the financial aspect of Roots over the past year. When looking at the financial aspect of our venue, we can see that the net profit shows a loss in the first 3 quarters. But if you look at the cash flow, we see it keeps going up. Meaning that in the end, we did make a profit almost every quarter. It does show as a loss on the net profit because of the depreciation on our fixed assets. For example, instruments, boxes, and of course our building. Meaning that the net profit shows the value of those products, like instruments or boxes go down, but we already paid for the products. So the cash flow doesn't show depreciation because it has already been taken off from the bank account and therefore our cash. That's why we did make a profit, even though the net profit doesn't say so. Now we move on to the variance analysis. We see that in Q1 we have a negative net profit variance. This is because it was our first quarter and we were not yet able to assess the market very well. As a result, we overestimated the number of visitors and therefore our sales volume variance was negative. Consequently, our net profit variance also became negative. In Q2, we have a positive net profit variance. This is because after Q1 we developed a completely new program with a lot of discounts and a larger budget for marketing, in the hope that we would get more visitors. And indeed we did get more visitors, but way more than we expected, after the low visitor number of Q1, which is why our sales volume variance in Q2 is so high and therefore the net profit variance as well. Looking at Q3, we see a positive net profit variance again, but it is significantly lower than in Q2. This is because we gained a better understanding of the market situation and the number of visitors due to certain financial decisions we made. For instance, in addition to increasing the market budget and offering discounts we already did in Q2, we now also lowered our ticket prices a lot. Moving to Q4, we see that we once again have a positive net profit variance. This is because a lot of events were completely sold out. As a result, the sales volume variance was higher than we had expected. The sales mix variance in Q4 is the highest of all quarters. This is mainly because we sold almost all of our consumables. Something we did not expect because we had far too few consumables in Q2 and Q3. Therefore, we made the decision in Q4 to order a very large amount so that we would not sell out. But unexpectedly, we did. And as a result, our sales mix variance was very high. Now we will look at the future financial decisions. Over the past year, we at Roots have gained a much better understanding of how the market works. Therefore, we want to make some decisions for the future to maintain our high visitor number. We want to continue offering low ticket prices and giving those discounts as much as possible. But to ensure we still make enough profit, we want to reduce our marketing budget. This is because most of the events we held over the last 2 quarters were completely sold out. We therefore do not want to advertise unnecessarily for events we have, but for which tickets are already sold out.
Hi everybody, I'm Alicia and I'm one of the CEOs. I want to conclude everything that has been said in the presentation, give a little bit of a reflection on this year and look to the future. I want to start by bringing back our mission and vision, which is that we want to be a stage for every story. We want to ignite young talent's passion, we want to be the go-to place for them, and we want to be a very inclusive and open space for everybody and by providing them unique experiences. We want to become the leading destination for the young artists and their talent, and to lead a shift in the creative economy where diversity and expression are a hallmark of great experience. And while doing so, we want to remain within our principles when it comes to sustainability. My lovely colleague Sarah has already talked about our OKRs in the 6 capitals, which we have chosen to 3 of them, which align the most with our principles. They're natural, social relationship, and financial. If you want to hear more about that, it is in the first part of the video. And I just want to focus on what we have done to actually get closer to achieving these goals. So we are very much aware that our OKRs are long-term goals and we have to achieve many small steps in the process in order to actually make them happen. This is why I'm going to be talking about those smaller steps today that we have managed to achieve this year. For our social and relationship capital, we have chosen to work with a media partner this year, not only to attract new members to our community, but also to showcase what we have to offer the existing one. Besides that, we have trained our hospitality and technician staff, not only to give them the knowledge that they require for the job, but also to create the sense of community amongst themselves. Besides that, we have also been able to produce 31 events that are focused on community for bigger, smaller groups on regional and local level. Natural capital is what drives us in our sustainability decisions. This year, we have been able to reduce our food and beverage waste through extensive analysis of trial and errors this year. We've also invested in recycling through recycling cups that are available all around our venue. And we've invested in staff training on LED systems that we have started to gradually implement in our venue. Financial capital is also a crucial part of a company. This year, we have made a significant improvement when it came to our net worth, which you can see on the graph on the right. We have came from a very low point to coming out on the top. Then we move on to reduce the amount we spend on waste. This not only benefited the natural capital, but it also went on to improve our financial capital. And lastly, we have also improved our visitor numbers drastically. Through analysis of the whole year, we have improved our methods. When it comes to the future outlook, we have divided it into 2 terms. We have a short-term outlook and a long-term outlook. Firstly, the short-term outlook, which we want to achieve in the next year. We want to reach out to our artists for feedback so that we can create a more specific and a better suiting artist experience. We want to improve our LED strategy by replacing even more overlights with the LED technology. We want to work closely with sustainable oriented foundation or company to make our LED dreams come true and make more discounts available not only in variety but also in quantity. Now we look at our long-term future outlook, which is to be achieved in the next 5 years. Firstly, we want to build a database of artists who have played in our venue, not only to keep them coming back, but also to work with them closely in recruiting new talents. We also want to keep our staff trained for LED technology, as we're going to keep on improving it, but also our hospitality staff, as it is equally important. We also want to reach the 150,000 in revenue, which will be the key results of our objectives stated for the financial capital. And lastly, we want to reduce our marketing budget, which is a big statement, and it is talked more in depth in our financial chapter.
Lastly, I want to say that at Roots, we stand for the equal rights to music. We believe in building the inclusive community, and we are constantly sustainable. This is what we stand for. These are our principles, and this is the company. We will not be left behind in this industry. We will keep on evolving until we reach the pinnacle of it. So thank you so much for listening to this presentation, and we hope you enjoyed it.